Okay, welcome back, everyone. As chairman of the commission, I'd like to welcome you to the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission Town Hall meeting at 5:02 p.m. This Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation, as well as Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this evening's meeting. Please email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact us at redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at our website, www.michigan.gov/micrc for viewing at a later date. The meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/micrc website, in addition to written public comment submissions. There's also a public comment portal that may be accessed by visiting michigan.gov/micrc. Members of the media who have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director of the Commission at woodse3@michigan.gov. To present the purpose of today's town hall meeting, I'll turn it over to Executive Director Woods.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Eid. I hope this finds everyone well. It is 5 o'clock, and we hope that you're ready to engage in learning more about the maps. As you know, we have 6 collaborative maps and 6 individual maps. Our purpose is to educate, just simply educate about each and every one of the maps, answer any questions that you may have, so that when we have our public hearing next week in Detroit, you can share which map that you like or which map that you like with some minor tweaks, so that we can have a robust engagement at our public hearings. But once again, this is optional, and it's an education process with regards to the maps. As always, we welcome public comments, whether they're in person or remote, or whether you comment through the public comment portal or the mapping comment portal. We want your comments. You can also mail in your comments as well as email them. So just want to let you know that we are once again want to engage the public as it relates to the comments regarding these maps. We want to thank you for your past engagement with the House and look forward to the same with the Senate. And we look forward to seeing each and every one of you next week. But today is an opportunity to educate yourselves with regards to the maps and get your questions answered, so that you can make an informed decision when you come before the commission next week. Once again, thank you so much for engaging with us. Thank you for being here. And we hope that you will enjoy this meeting as the commission shares details about each of the 12 maps being considered. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to our chair, Commissioner Anthony Eid.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. The commission has submitted 12 draft maps to the court for public consideration. These include 6 collaborative maps and 6 individual maps. The collaborative maps we gave bird names to and are as follows: cardinal, crane, dove, finch, heron, and starling. While the individual maps come to us as submissions from individual commissioners, Juanita Curry, Brittany Kellum, Rhonda Lang, Cynthia Orton, Rebecca Zatella, and Aaron Wagner. We're going to go through all 12 of these maps this evening. And we have different requests from different commissioners who'd like to go due to time restraints. So if anybody would like to go first, please let me know and we'll make time for that. Commissioner Lang.
Thank you. I'd be happy to go first.
Please, that would be nice.
Mr. Morgan, if you could bring up my individual map, please.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, this is the Commissioner Lang map. It's map 400 on the portal.
Okay, I'm going to make it kind of quick since this is the third time and I'm sure some have already heard this. So what we're looking at, I started off with a collaborative map that was started and I concentrated on the Detroit area starting out and trying not to change a lot of the outer districts that were already done. Therefore, District 11 and 9 are the same as what they were in the Linden map. This map has 4 VRA districts. Those districts consist of 1, 3, 6, and 7. The Detroit area, District 1, you'll see this was a little bit of a redraw from the my initial map. I included Melvindale in with Dearborn and then took some neighborhoods above that area and added them into one to make the new district. I used neighborhoods as a guideline, tried to keep as many neighborhoods whole as I could, and I also used major roads and highways as a guideline for this. District 7 consisted of Oak Park, pardon me, Farmington Hills, Southfield. What I did there, I tried to incorporate a district that encompassed the Jewish population, community of interest. In District 13, Livonia, which was not whole in the initial map, is now whole. You have in District 5, Canton is whole, which we received a lot of comment about that. And then you can see District 4, Taylor's whole. So we had a lot of comment about keeping Taylor whole. District 1, 3, and 6, our initial first time around in mapping, we heard a lot from the public stating how citizens of Detroit would really like somebody from the Detroit area that knows Detroit to be represented by them. So by trying to do 3 districts within the boundaries of Detroit and the Detroit area, I'm hoping that satisfies what people were looking for. And partisan fairness was basically the same as all of the other maps, give or take a percentage point or so, but all fell within the guidelines. I did not look at race when drawing this. I did not look at any political affiliations when drawing this. And the districts that I drew are from me. I did not look at any maps when doing these. There were no maps submitted to me, so these are all just for me. And I think that pretty much sums it up.
Thank you, Commissioner Lang.
If I may, I think Commissioner Lang said that District 9 and 11 were the same as Linden. I think it's District 9 and 12.
It is. I apologize. I misspoke. 12 and 9. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Would anyone else like to go next presenting a map? Commissioner Orton.
I can go, thank you.
And this is the individual map you want to see?
Yes, please.
Okay, computer says no.
Well, while that's coming up, I think I changed 13 districts, some just slightly. And I started with the Crane map, so it is very similar to the Crane map. I did not look at any race data or political data, incumbents, anything like that while drawing the map. And it does have 4 VRA districts, which we will see which ones those are. 1, 3, 6, and 7. So I will just go through kind of district by district. So District 1 in this map. So I said, started with Crane. I did not change any of these Detroit-centered districts from what was in Crane. So District 1 contains River Rouge, Ecorse, Lincoln Park, and down to Southgate. Contains the Hispanic community of interest that we've heard about, Corktown, Mexican Town. And it contains Detroit neighborhoods up. There's Midwest, Bethune, and other neighborhoods. I followed used the neighborhood map. Well, not in this, I guess not in this one. This one is close to Crane, and so we used the neighborhood map in Crane and left it like it was. So District 2 contains the MENA community of interest that we've heard a lot about, Dearborn Heights, Melvindale, Allen Park, all of Warren Avenue, and most of Warrendale. And District 3 is Detroit, contains Highland Park and Hamtramck, including Banglatown. And in East Detroit, it includes the neighborhoods of Cornerstone Village, East English Village, Morningside, that wanted to stay together, and the Gold Coast is in there. District 4. So this keeps the community of interest of Belleville, Van Buren, and Sumter Townships together, along with Huron, and it keeps Romulus whole, and with the district south of it, which was requested in public comment, and it keeps a lot of the downriver communities together. District 5 is Canton, Plymouth, and Westland. It also includes Garden City and Inkster. District 6, West Detroit with Redford, includes Brightmoor and Bagley and other neighborhoods. District 7 is mostly the same configuration as original, just slightly changed, and it keeps Southfield with Pontiac, which is a community of interest we heard about. District 8 is Royal Oak with Oak Park, Pleasant Ridge, Huntington Woods, Ferndale, and Hazel Park, and then Madison Heights is in there, and Clawson. District 9 keeps pretty much like it was originally, but slightly changed, I think. It does keep the Keltian community of interest that we heard about together. It's got Troy, the west part of Sterling Heights, Rochester Hills, and it does keep Utica with that district, which we did receive public comment about. And District 10, so 10 and 11 were the long skinny districts, and I changed those so that 10 is below and 11 is above. So those contain mostly the areas that were in 10 and 11. So 10 has East Point and Roseville, the east part of Warren, Fraser, part of Clinton Township, and the remainder of Sterling Heights that isn't in 9. And so then 11 has most of Clinton Township, I would say, almost all of Shelby Township, Macomb Township, and then what was above there already. District 12 preserves the Lake St. Clair Lakeshore Community of Interest. District 13 is over on the other side. It keeps Farmington with Farmington Hills, and it keeps Livonia whole, and it includes Northville and part of Novi. And there were some slight changes to 23 and 24. Just slight when we did the overlay, it, just a little bit for population purposes. And I did not look at any political party information. Does not disfavor or favor any elected officials or candidates that I know of. I didn't look at any of that. And I considered county, city, and township boundaries where it didn't cause a problem population or community of interest wise. So, and partisan fairness. Do you want to bring the numbers up, or should I just read them off?
Can do that. So it's map 393. So the lopsided margins is 5.1 Republican. The mean median is 3.4 Republican. The efficiency gap is 1.9 Republican. And the seats vote ratio is 21-17 with a bias of 2.4 towards Democrats.
Thank you. Are there any questions or anything?
I was going to add, I believe that the 3 Detroit districts were the same as in Commissioner Curry's plan.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. Okay. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Orton. Good explanation. Good explanations, everyone. Anyone want to go next? Okay, well, let's go with one of the collaborative maps then. Let's just start at the top and start with Cardinal. All right, Mr. Wise, you want to help present this one?
Yes, and along with your help also. Yes, this is the Cardinal map that was collaborative. This had 6 districts that were contested. They were District 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11. And we redrew those districts by erasing them completely and substituting the House of Representative districts in place of that, which maybe, John, if you want to bring up maybe an overlay might be helpful. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It contains, thank you. It contains 4 VRA district compliance, 1, 3, 7, and 8. And as you can see, they were substituted in place of the Senate districts. So obviously they're not all perfect. There was some changes. I believe total, there were approximately 12 districts that got changed in the process to make this work. Let me see. I guess that's okay. Mr. Eid, if you take over, please, you're much better at this.
Well, I think you're doing a fine job, but
Yes, but you're
sure.
much better.
Yeah, so as Commissioner Royce was saying, with this version of the maps, we for the Detroit area in particular, we substituted in a few of the Motown Sound House districts in order to create Senate districts, since just about 3 House districts makes a Senate district. That's for the Detroit area. For the suburbs, it takes the same collaborative districts as there are in some of the other maps. But for example, you can see here for the Senate District 1, it's comprised pretty much of the House districts 1, 7, and 9. For the Senate District 2, it's comprised of the House districts 2, 3, and 15. And if you go up north to Senate District 3, it's primarily House districts 4, 5, and 8. So we kind of took that approach in combining some of these Senate districts in combining some of the House districts for this cardinal map. It does have 4 VRA districts, those being 1, 3, 7, and 8. So for District 1, it's a downriver district that goes from some of the downriver communities, starting in Wyandotte up through Ecorse and River Rouge, up to through the river up to Grosse Pointe, and includes Highland Park and Hamtramck. The District 3 includes a lot of the rest of Northwest Detroit, going up and crossing 8 Mile into Ferndale and Oak Park, trying to, use the same COIs in crossing 8 Mile in a way that supports communities of interest, but not crossing it too much. The District 8 then takes the east side of Detroit and puts it with it puts it with most of Warren, Centerline, and East Point, along with Hazel Park. And District 7, the last VRA district, is comprised of Southfield, Detroit, and some of those Royal Oak neighborhoods that share commonalities like Royal Oak, Berkeley, and Huntington Woods. Now, so those are the VRA districts. We look at some of the other districts. District 2 is that Dearborn-centered district that has the Middle Eastern community of interest in it, comprised of Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, Melvindale. This configuration also has Allen Park and Lincoln Park in it, along with a little bit of Warrendale. The districts 4 and 5 are similar to what we see in a few of the other maps. In District 4, Taylor is whole, but in this configuration, Romulus is split. So in 4, you have Taylor, Southgate, with some of the other more southern downriver communities, basically all of them up into Monroe, and also includes Van Buren, Belleville, and Sumter in one district. Whereas District 5 is a little bit more Canton-based and has the remainder of Romulus that isn't in District 4, along with Westland and Inkster. District 6 then has Livonia being whole and also includes Redford, Garden City, a little bit of Detroit, and Northville. We talked about 7 and 8 already. Let's go up to District 9. So District 9 is a little different from the original District 7 configuration. If you recall, the original District 7 had Pontiac going south into Southfield. One of the things you see in a lot of our maps is this kind of District 9 that includes Pontiac, Rochester, and Rochester Hills, along with Bloomfield Hills. In this configuration, it includes Birmingham, and some other ones it doesn't. In this one, Birmingham is in there with District 9. The District 10 likewise is changed. It is one of the configurations that doesn't have a split in Sterling Heights, instead having it whole with Utica, Troy, and then also Madison Heights just south on 75. District 12 is unchanged from the original Linden map, meaning it has the same Lakeshore COI that we've heard some folks like there with Linden. And District 11 is basically the areas that are left in between 8, 10, and 12, being a little bit more of a Macomb County centered district that includes Warren, Roseville, Fraser, Clinton Township, but does not include East Point as before and does not cross into 8 Mile like it did before. Finally, the last one, District 13, it recombines Farmington and Farmington Hills, putting it with West Bloomfield and the Lakes, as well as Novi and Commerce Township. As Commissioner Weiss said, this version changes 12 districts from the original Linden configuration. Do we want to bring up the partisan fairness numbers?
Okay, 373. 373. So the upside of margins is 3.6 Republican. The mean median is 2.6 Republican. The efficiency gap is 0.8 Democrat. The seats vote is 22 Democrat, 16 Republican, with a bias of 5.0 towards Democrats.
Thank you, John. So as you can see, it performs quite well under the partisan fairness metrics. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Next up is Crane. Commissioner Vallette, will you help the public in explaining this one?
I sure will. Okay, Mr. Morgan, you pulling that map up. Thank you very much.
All right, and this is 385 from the portal.
Thank you. The first ranked criteria, redistricting criteria was Equal Populations and Voting Right Act. All of the districts are within the population deviation, and race was not looked at in the drawing of this map. VRA analysis was performed after the map was drawn, and there are 4 VRA districts. And Commissioner Ede, will you help me remember what those 4 were?
Yeah, it is 1, 3, 6, and 7 in this one.
Thank you. The second criteria was geographically contiguous. We've performed a discontiguity check was performed, and there were no those words are so weird. But anyway, it was fine as far as that went. And then to reflect the state's diversity and communities of interest. So District 1, the downriver communities of River Rouge, Ecorse, Lincoln Park were kept together. Hispanic COI, including Corktown and Mexican Town, were kept together. The neighborhoods of Midwest up to Bethune and over to Dexter Linwood were kept together. District 2, the COI, including Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, Melvindale, Annam Park, all of the Warren Avenue and most of Warrendale were kept together. District 3, Highland Park and Hamtramck, including Banglatown, East Detroit, Cornerstone Village, East English Village, and Morningside were kept together, and including the Gold Coast. District 4 keeps the COI of Bellevue, Van Buren, and Sumter Township, along with Huron community. And it also keeps Romulus whole, and with the area south of which was requested by the public comment. Keeps many downriver communities together. District 5, Canton with Plymouth and Westland, and it also includes Garden City and Inkster. District 6, West Detroit with Redford, includes Brightmoor, Bagley, and Far West Detroit. District 7, Southfield and Pontiac, and that was a public comment for that COI to stay together. District 8 keeps Livonia whole, Farmington with Farmington Hills together, and Northville and some of Novi together. District 9 keeps the Chaldean COI together with Troy. West side of Sterling Heights, Rochester, and Rochester Hills together. District 10 is Oak Park, Huntington Wood, Pleasant Ridge together, and Ferndale and Hazel Park. District 12 preserves the Lake St. Clair shoreline COI. 13 has Milford and Commerce and White Lake together. District 23 keeps Highland and White Lake Townships together. And District 24 keeps most of Clinton Township with Shelby Township, with Macomb Township, and what was originally the north part of the district. There was no disproportionate advantage to any political party, and the part, I'm sorry. So the partisan fairness numbers were in line with what was required. No favor or disfavor to an incumbent elected official or candidate. We did not take any incumbents or candidates into account while drawing this map. And it reflects consideration of city, county, and township boundaries where boundaries if they didn't conflict with population or COI considerations. And it is reasonably compact. And that's it. Any questions?
I don't see any. Well done, Commissioner Gillette.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Next up is Dove.
Okay, this is Dove map 364 on the portal.
Great, great. All right. I'll say a few words about this one. So right now we're looking at Dove. Once again, it had 4 VRA districts in this version of the map. Those districts are 1, 3, 7, and 10. For District 1, you have a little bit of a different configuration that's in some other maps, so I guess it's unique in that way. It has those downriver communities, this time starting in Ecorse, going up through River Rouge, and incorporating much of the Detroit River up until some of the east side of Detroit, including East English Village, Morningside area. And it goes north to include only Hamtramck, but is separate from Highland Park in this one, which is in District 3. That District 3 then has Highland Park, and the rest of that, northern, northwestern portion of Detroit. The District 7 is similar to the original Linden 7 in that it goes from Pontiac down into Southfield, but that did include Birmingham originally. In this one, Birmingham is not included in 7 and is instead with District 8. And then the District 10 is the rest of the northeastern portion of Detroit, along with all of Warren, Centerline, and East Point. And Harper Woods in this configuration is in District 10 as well. I spoke for a moment about District 8 and Birmingham's inclusion in it. If we look at the rest of the district, it has many of the Oakland County townships being together here, like Royal Oak, Berkeley, Huntington Woods, going a little bit more south here into Oak Park, Ferndale, and Hazel Park, and then south into Detroit, covering some areas that make sense from a COI perspective, like Palmer Park. If we go to District 2, so this is again the Dearborn Center Community of Interest. We've seen this one in a few of the other maps. It's the configuration that has Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, Melvindale, Allen Park, and Lincoln Park. Let's see. In this one, Warren, there's a little bit of Warrendale in there, but to a lesser degree, and that's because Lincoln Park in totality is included in District 2 here. We can go to 4 and 5. So there are a few differences here. Again, with this District 4, we see Taylor as whole, but Romulus is split around the airport. 4 then goes south to incorporate the rest of the downriver communities. And then this map includes Sumter with District 4, whereas Van Buren and Belleville are instead included in District 5, as well as the rest of Romulus, Inkster, parts of Westland, and Plymouth. That then brings us to District 6, which is directly north. It is once again a Livonia-centered district, with Livonia being whole here, also including Redford, Garden City, the parts of Westland that are not in District 5. And it goes north into Farmington and Farmington Hills, as well as a little bit of Southfield. Spoke about 7, 8, and 10. Let's go to District 9. So this is also similarly configured to the original District 9, including the west portion of Sterling Heights, split up around Van Dyke Avenue, including Utica and Troy, and then going north into Rochester, Rochester Hills, and Oakland. For 11 and 12 here, we have a little bit of a difference. Instead of incorporating the whole lakeshore, you have a District 11 that includes the points and St. Clair Shores, but then heading westward to include the east part of Sterling Heights that is not in District 9. And then just north of that, you have the rest of that lakeshore COI that incorporates Mount Clemens, and the border townships to Lake Augustine. Then finally, if we look at District 13, it is similar to the original Linden configuration, although it doesn't go as far south, and instead takes in more of Farmington and Farmington Hills and Walled Lake. So it's you got West Bloomfield and the lakes, in addition to Novi, Northville, parts of Farmington and Farmington Hills, as well as Commerce and Walled Lake. This map changed 12 districts from the original Linden configuration. As far as the partisan fairness values go, I got 6.2% for the lopsided margin score towards Republicans, 2.5% towards Republicans for mean median difference, 4.6% towards Republicans for efficiency gap, and a 0.2 seats to votes ratio towards Republicans with a 20 to 18 vote share. All right, I think that covers it for this one. Next up, we will bring up Finch. Commissioner Callahan, can you help present this one again?
I think I can do that. Okay, so this is Finch. It also has 4 VRA districts. Those are districts 1, 3, 7, and 8. We have 3 Detroit Center districts, 1, 3, and 8. They all start at the river and then kind of branch up and out from there. I'm going to talk about the VRA districts first, beginning with the Detroit ones. District 1 starts downriver, and it includes the downriver communities of River Rouge, Ecorse, and Wyandotte. Above that, you have the Latina community that's included, and then it wraps around the Dearborn community to include some of the western and northwestern Detroit neighborhoods. Next door is District 3. District 3 starts at the riverfront, includes Belle Isle and the Gold Coast, then extends north up to include Hamtramck, Highland Park, the Bangladesh community of interest. It also has a pretty good slice of the northern Detroit neighborhoods. And then it crosses 8 Mile to include Ferndale and Hazel Park. I think that encompasses the LGBTQ community. Is that correct? Yeah. So that's a COI that's kept together there. Next door to that is District 8. District 8, again, it starts with a small slice down at the riverfront and then moves very quickly north to encompass the eastern neighborhoods and the northeast neighborhoods of Detroit. It's got the Morningside, East English Village, Cornerstone community. It's also crosses 8, let's see, does it? Yeah, it crosses 8 Mile. It includes East Point, a good bit of Warren and Centerline. All right, then the last VRA district is not Detroit centric, it's District 7. It's mostly outside of Detroit. It includes Southfield, Franklin, Beverly Hills, and then it goes east to include Berkeley, Royal Oak, Oak Park, and Royal Oak Township. It also dips just slightly past 8 Mile and includes a few communities there. I think that was done for population purposes. Okay, so those are the VRA districts. If we start to move a little outside of Detroit to some of the other districts, District 2 includes the MENA community of interest. You pretty much see this in all our maps. This version of the district includes Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, Melvindale, also Allen Park and Lincoln Park. It doesn't include the Warrendale area that's just north of Dearborn. It's got a little slice there along Warren Avenue, but that's about it. District 4 includes all of the downriver communities that are not in either D1 or D2. Also includes all of Taylor, which is kept whole in Huron Charter Township. The Van Buren, Sumterville, Belleville, we've received a lot of comments about keeping those areas together, so they're made whole there. This district does, however, split Romulus there at the airport. Moving north, we get District 5. District 5 contains the northern half of Romulus, along with the western suburbs of Inkster, Westland, and the Canton, Plymouth. It's good to keep Canton, Plymouth Township together. They have a lot of strong ties in those communities. Next is D6. It's another western suburban district. It has Northville Township. That's that little crossover 8 Mile line, is because that's the boundary for the town. It has all of Livonia, which keeps that community whole and addresses the comments received there. And it also includes Garden City, Redford, and a very small slice of some western Detroit neighborhoods. D9 has the very similar configuration to what Anthony was just describing in the previous map. It has Pontiac grouped with the northern Oakland suburbs of Auburn Hills, Rochester, Rochester Hills, Bloomfield, Bloomfield Hills, and Birmingham. 10, District 10 straddles the Oakland-Macomb County line. It's got Troy and Madison Heights from Oakland, and then all of Sterling Heights, which is kept whole, and Utica from Macomb. D11 matches the Linden map, at least on the northern end, and I believe along the eastern border as well. The difference is it does include the northeast corner of Warren, which the Linden map did not. And it does not include East Point, and it doesn't cross down into 8 Mile, which the Linden map did. So it stops a little bit shorter. D12 is the Lake St. Clair Lakeshore community of interest that you see in a lot of the maps. And then over on D13, you see Farmington Hills is made whole, and it's grouped with the greater West Bloomfield area, Novi, Walled Lake, and part of Commerce Township. If we could take a look at the partisan fairness numbers.
Okay, this is 399 in the portal. So the top line numbers, the lopsided margin is 3.7 for Republican. The mean median difference is 2.7 Republican. The efficiency gap is 0.8 Democrat. The seats vote is 22 Democrat to 16 Republican, with a 5.0 bias towards Democrats.
So that's all I have for that map, unless someone else has a comment or a question.
I think you about covered it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just add this one changed 13 districts when compared to the original Linden. All right, next up is Heron.
Do you want me to do this one too?
If you could, that'd be great.
All right. So this is the Heron map. With this map, we started out by trying to see if we could come up with a different configuration for Detroit to provide choices and to see what the maps could look like if we did something really different with Detroit. And so here, instead of having an east-west divide or having one wrap around Dearborn like we have in a lot of the maps, or the last map you just saw where there were 3 districts that kind of came from the river and radiated up and out, this one tried to do some stacking of the districts. This map, once we ran through the voting rights analysis, I actually had 4 VRA districts as well. Those were 1, 3, 6, and 8. 1, 3, 6, and 8. Yep. So I'm going to talk about those first. District 1 is hugging the riverfront down there. On the east end, it goes a little higher than some of the other maps to get enough population in. And it includes the east side neighborhoods of Cornerstone, Morningside, East English Village. Then it runs through downtown Midtown, includes the Latino community. And then the southern end includes downriver communities of Melvindale, Allen Park, River Rouge, Ecorse, and parts of Lincoln Park. After that, D8, District 8 is the other VR district. It sits on top of D1, and D8 is intended to be encompassing the middle and northern neighborhoods of Detroit. So you see we have Highland Park and Hamtramck in there, the Bangladesh community of interest, and basically the northern communities across the very top of the city. D6 is beside of D8. It's our other VRA district. D6 makes Livonia whole, which we had a lot of comments for, groups it with Redford and the far west neighborhoods of Detroit. And then the last VRA district is District 3. It's an east-west district, has some of the inner ring suburbs from Oakland County. So you've got Royal Oak Township, Southfield, Oak Park, Beverly Hills, Berkeley, and part of Farmington Hills. It does split Farmington Hills. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the non-VRA districts, starting with District 2. This encompasses the MENA community of interest, and this iteration that includes Dearborn Heights, combined with part of Warrendale. Didn't get all of that community, but it has a piece of it. Also, Inkster Garden City and part of Westland. It does not include Melvindale. I know we had a lot of comments about that, but in this district that wouldn't fit for population. Next is District 4, which is under 2. District 4 doesn't extend as far west as some of the other maps. Doesn't have Romulus or any of the western communities. However, Taylor is whole and it's included in this district, as well as all of the remaining downriver communities. Moving over to District 5. District 5 has the Van Buren, Sumter, Belleville area we heard so much about when we split them unmistakably. We have Romulus that's made whole, and Huron Charter Township. It also includes, let's see, Canton. However, Plymouth is split from Canton in this particular iteration. Next is D7. D7 still includes Pontiac like Linden did, but instead of extended south to 8 Mile like Linden, it's been redrawn to stretch to the east. It's got those northern suburbs again, Auburn Hills, Rochester's Hills, dips down for a little bit of Troy and Sterling Heights. D9 is Oakland suburbs. We've got Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills, Royal Oak, Madison Heights, and Ferndale. And then D10 and D11, they both run north-south in Macomb County like they did in Linden, but the boundaries are a little bit different. D10 includes Utica, most of Sterling Heights and Warren, and barely dips down into Detroit for a little population. The old D10 in the Linden map had a pretty substantial footprint in Detroit, and this version of 10 does not. For D11, the northern and western boundary is like Linden, but changes include the addition of Mount Clemens on the east, and it doesn't extend into Detroit on the southern boundary either. It stops at East Point. D12 maintains the Lake Shore District. D13 on the west side includes the greater West Bloomfield area, the northern half of Farmington Hills that didn't make it into District 3, Novi, Northville, and Plymouth. I think this map changed 12 districts. Is that right, Commissioner Anthony?
Yep, 12.
12, yeah. And if we could take a look at the partisan numbers.
Okay, this is 376. So the lopsided margin is 3.8 Republican, 0.3 Democrat on the mean median, The efficiency gap is 0.8 Democrat. The seats vote is 22 Democrat to 16 Republican, with a 5.0 bias towards Democrats.
So these are really good partisan fairness scores. It's some of the best that we have. That's all I have.
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, that's all I have.
Great. Thank you for presenting that map. We have one more collaborative map. And that is Starling. All right, so what we're looking at here is Starling v3. It had two other iterations, Starling v1 and then Starling v2. And it was approved upon iteratively. I think Commissioner Muldoon was the last to make a change on it with his changes to District 11 there in the Fraser area. But this map has, once again, 4 VRA compliant districts. In this one, it is 1, 3, 7, and 10. District 1 is similar to what we saw just now in Heron, where it's a little bit more of a stacked configuration. It just changes the borders a little bit. It includes Lincoln Park with Ecorse and River Rouge going up through the Detroit River. I believe it also includes the Midwest neighborhood on the northwest portion. District 3 is then on top of it. It includes Highland Park and Hamtramck as well, and then goes westward to include much of the areas of central and northwest Detroit. District 7 is then just north of District 3 and includes many of the southern Oakland County townships like Southfield Township, as well as Oak Park, Berkeley, and Hazel Park. And then it goes south to include Palmer Park and crosses 8 miles away that I think supports the COIs that we've heard from before. In this one, the District 7 also includes Berkeley and Huntington Woods with District 7. And then Royal Oak is with District 8, along with Troy and the west side of Sterling Heights. District 10, the final VRA district, includes the northeast portion of Detroit, along with all of Warren, Centerline, and East Point, as well as a little portion of Roseville. If we go to District 2, so this is once again a Dearborn-centered district comprised of Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, and Melvindale, encompassing the Middle Eastern COI. It also includes Allen Park. And in this one, it doesn't include Lincoln Park, but instead includes more of Warrendale and a little bit of Detroit on that northern portion. The District 4, in this map, so in a lot of the ones you've seen before, Taylor has been whole and Romulus has been split. This one's kind of the opposite. Romulus is whole, but Taylor is split. It is split right along the highway there, Highway 24, and it incorporates the east side of Taylor, the rest of the downriver communities south of Lincoln Park and Ecorse, and then goes westward to include Van Buren, Belleville, and Sumter townships. District 5 then includes all of Romulus, as well as Canton, Inkster, and goes north into Plymouth. District 6 is once again a little bit more Livonia centered. It includes Livonia, the parts of Westland that were not included in District 5, Garden City, and Northville. We talked about districts 7, 8, and 10. You've seen that same District 9 configuration as some of the other collaborative maps, including Pontiac, Rochester, Rochester Hills, and Bloomfield Hills. This one also includes Birmingham with District 9. The District 11 here, so I'll talk about District 12 first. District 12 still has that Lakeshore COI, but it's slightly different. It includes Roseville with that COI, and I believe a little bit more of Mount Clemens than the original Linden map did. And to make up for that, District 11, which is, borders District 12 and which borders the lake, that includes the east side of Sterling Heights, as well as Fraser up to Chesterfield, the remaining population around District 12. And then I think there is a little difference in 13. It's similar to some of the other collaborative maps in that it has the greater West Bloomfield area, along with Farmington and Farmington Hills being whole and put in with Novi, Commerce, and Walled Lake, but it also includes just a small portion of Southfield. This map changes 14 districts from the original Linden map. Has 4 VRA districts that we spoke about. Do we want to pull up the partisan fairness numbers?
Okay, this is 395. So the lopsided margins are 5.0 towards Republican. The mean median difference is 1.3 Republican. The efficiency gap is 1.9 Republican. The seats vote ratio is 21 Democrat, 17 Republican, with 2.4 bias towards Democrats.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, John. That finishes up the collaborative maps, and we've already heard from Commissioners Orton and Ling for the individual. For the individual maps, we still have Commissioner Wagner, Zatella, Kellum, and Curry. Commissioner Lang.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I've been in touch with Commissioner Wagner and Commissioner Zatella, and unfortunately, due to circumstances out of their control, they cannot be here. I don't think anybody could do their maps due justice like they can, so they requested that if the public would like an in-depth explanation of their maps, that they could go to the previous YouTube video and rewatch that, and it'll be explained perfectly to them. So I guess basically there's no need to present them.
All right, and they have presented it 2 other times, earlier this morning and twice last week. So I do recommend that folks who want to see that, please go watch the archive. It can be found on our YouTube channel. Okay. Then let's bring up Commissioner Kellum's map.
Okay, this is Commissioner Cullen's map, number 403 on the portal.
All right, so what we're looking at now is the map that Commissioner Kellum submitted. It was originally the Phoenix Collaborative map, which was kind of based on hummingbird and heron and flamingo. But she wanted to submit it as an individual commissioner. So that's what we're looking at now. It has some similarities to some things we've seen before and some changes elsewhere. For that District 1, we kind of have that stacked configuration that we saw in Heron, where it starts in the downriver communities, and it does go a little further in this one, taking in most of Allen Park, and then going up through Ecorse and River Rouge, up through the Detroit River, not going quite far as north as we've seen some of the other districts, stopping below Highland Park and Hamtramck, and then going up to the east side of Detroit, including East English Village. District 8 is then stacked right on top of it. It includes Highland Park and Hamtramck, as well as the rest of that central/northern Detroit area, stopping at 8 Mile Road. District 6 then includes Livonia, Redford, and some of the west side of Detroit neighborhoods, where District 3 then includes Farmington Hills, Southfield, Oak Park, and a portion of Northwest Detroit. Those 4, 1, 8, 6, and 3 are the VRA districts in this map. If we look at District 2, this is similar to the District 2 found in Heron, although this one does include Melvindale there. And because Allen Park and Lincoln Park are in District 1, this configuration goes west to include Inkster and Garden City. It also includes parts of Warrendale. If we go south to Districts 4 and 5, this is also similar to Heron, but is a little different in that both Romulus and Taylor are whole here. And in order to do that, you have this C shape with District 5 that includes Canton, Van Buren, Sumter, and Huron, along with Westland and Wayne. Whereas the District 4 has Romulus, Taylor, both being whole, and then the rest of the downriver communities south up through Monroe. If we go north into Oakland County, we spoke about 3. Can you zoom in there on 3 and 10? So 3 ends at Oak Park and Royal Oak Township. 10 then includes some of those Oakland County townships that we've spoken about, like Berkeley, Huntington Woods, and Royal Oak, as well as Ferndale and Hazel Park, and goes eastward into Warren, where most of Warren is in District 10 along with Centerline. For District 7, there's a little bit of a change here. Instead of it being Pontiac going south into Bloomfield and Bloomfield Hills, and including Rochester Hills, this now includes Waterford, so 1 township west. The District 9 is similar to the original Linden configuration, having that split in Sterling Heights around Van Dyke, encompassing that west side of Sterling Heights, Chaldean, COI, with Troy and Rochester Hills, only it doesn't go as far north into Oakland as it did previously. The District 12 is mostly the same as the original Linden configuration. However, there are two neighborhoods of Detroit that are adjacent to Grosse Pointe Park, being the Jefferson Chalmers area, that is also attached and also along the river. District 11 then includes the remainder of Sterling Heights, so the east side that's not included in District 9, and then the rest of this area that's not included in District 12, so East Point, Roseville, and Fraser. If we look at District 13, it is quite similar to the original Linden configuration. I'm not sure if there is any change here. If there is, then I think it actually does add a little bit more of Commerce and Wixom into 13, but it primarily has the greater West Bloomfield area going south through Commerce into Novi, Northville, and Plymouth. And then in order to account for those changes in 7 and 9, we rearranged some of the exurb counties in Oakland County in 23 and 24. Similar to how they are configured in Crane. This map changes 14 districts when compared to Linden. So a few more, I think 23 and 24 are changed. And do you want to pull up the partisan fairness?
Okay, this is 403. The lopsided margins is 3.8 for Republican. Mean median difference is 1.5 Republican. The efficiency gap is 0.8 for Democrats. Seats vote ratio is 22 Democrat to 16 Republican with a 5.0 bias towards Democrats.
Wonderful. All right, I think that covers this map, and that's all of them. Once again, I'd recommend the public go back and watch the earlier meeting or last week's meeting to get a presentation on the remaining individual commissioners' maps.
Did you want to do Commissioner Curry's map?
No, the public can go watch her do it herself. I don't think I can do her map justice.
Okay.
Okay, so that concludes the presentation of the maps. I'd like to thank Mr. Morgan for helping us out with that. And without objection, we'll begin this evening's public comment and question and answer portion of this town hall. Is there any objections, commissioners? Hearing none, we'll proceed. Individuals who have signed up or raised their hand and indicated they would like to provide remote public commentary or questions to the commission will now be allowed. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you'll be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you're on the phone, a voice will say the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call you by your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number. Please note if you are experiencing technical or audio issues or we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, We'll move on to the next person in line and then return to you after they are done speaking. If your audio still does not work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov, and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate during the next public comment period at a later meeting. Today, you'll have 90 seconds to address the commission, and please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. We have two folks who signed up in advance for public comments. And we have a few more that are in the waiting room. The first being Fatma Din.
Hi everyone, my name is Fatma Dean. I'm a community organizer and a Pakistani American resident in Warren. During my review of the state Senate maps, I've been trying to seek out which one would be the most fair and serve.
Sorry, Fatma, I just muted you
Oh.
because we're having a very difficult time hearing you so that the public on YouTube can hear you and our interpreters and translators. So if you don't mind, when you unmute yourself, starting again and trying to speak a little bit louder into your microphone if possible. Thank you.
Absolutely. Is this better? Great. I'll continue unless I'm stopped otherwise for audio issues. Hi, my name is Fatma Dean. I'm a community organizer and a Pakistani American resident in Warren. During my review of the state Senate maps, I've been trying to seek out which would be most fair and serve my communities and BIPOC communities best, as much as a layperson can understand all the metrics and complex implications of these maps anyways. Based on what I've been seeing, reading, and understanding, it currently seems that map 374, the Huron map, best relays partisan fairness, with 404 as a close second. I do feel like both maps represent the communities I'm a part of ethnically and geographically, while also seemingly to be statistically fair maps. Growing up, I lived in the edge of Warren and Sterling Heights, and so a lot of my life overlapped amongst these two cities. That's why in the Huron map, I feel like it makes sense to pair it for that. And I also appreciate that both maps have Hamtramck mostly together and other BIPOC communities kept together. In the 374 Huron map, it would have been great to keep all of Warren together, but considering the stats are still showing partisan fairness, it makes sense. And for the 404 map, 14 Mile Road also makes sense for Royal Oak and such, since we would do a lot of commuting back and forth. And my understanding is that people could be working in Warren but living in Royal Oak. So I see how both maps are beneficial and appreciate your guys' work. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next up is Mr. James Gallant.
Oh, James Gallant, Marquette County Suicide Prevention Coalition. These are my opinions. Chair Eid, please answer my questions on the process, the parliamentary procedure. You said you had no hands raised earlier when I had questions up for the Q&A. Why do you continue to not follow the rules of procedure as Robert's Rules of Order, as instructed by Mike Brady, the Director of Legal Services for the department at the first meeting? Secretary Benson, why is she not here? Okay, in her personal letter in the orientation materials, she said, she signed a letter. I am the secretary. I will be being secretary at the meeting. She said that. Now, this is just completely out of control, man. You have no pending motion now. Can you just answer about these procedure processes and why you're not following it? Because this does seem like you all are colluding behind the scenes to circumvent our Constitution and your oaths of office. That's a RICO Act violation if I ever heard one. They got Trump out here for RICO stuff, but it's you right here. This is a good process. It's just you people do not understand the rules. Mike Brady did a disservice to this state by not providing you with the rule book at the first meeting. Everybody, he said, you got to follow Robert's rules, didn't give you a rule book. He gave you a non-private cheat sheet. And in that subcommittee to hire Hammersmith had no public process experience, all nonprofit, and you institutionalized Marxist style communism here because you don't know what's going to happen next. You have no semblance of order. You just made decisions by unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Gallant. Always appreciate your passionate comments. That completes the list of people who have signed up in advance to speak. I do see a hand in the participants lobby. I think that's Anthony Scannell. It's Anthony S.
Thank you so much, Michigan Commission. And I'm going to this Michigan Central whatever thing. They got some tickets, got a day off work. Why not? Just got some tickets. That'll be interesting. And got to head down there. And I'm looking at the maps again. I think good, okay, and bad. I'd say good. Curry, Orton, Crane, okay. Lang, Wagner, Zatella, Kellum, and bad. Finch, Heron, Starling, and all the other birds except Crane, in my opinion. And yeah, I am really interested in all the process items that James Gallant has brought up about, should there be a motion to, I don't know, I don't even know, motion to consider. He says that's not in order, so I don't know what the correct motion would be to consider these maps, but I'm interested in what he has to say more. And thank you very much. Talk next time.
Thank you, Mr. Scannell. I'm headed there too after this. Maybe I'll see you there. Great event for Detroit today, the grand opening of the train station. Historic day in our city and in our state. I don't see anybody else who would like to provide comment. We will be here until 7:30. As long as you're online before then, we'll make time to hear from you. And I'd also like to take this time to just reiterate that we have in-person public hearings next week. We're trying to hit the major DPS high schools. We're going to be meeting over there on Tuesday, June 11th, Wednesday, June 12th, and Thursday, June 13th. On Tuesday, June 11th, we will be at Detroit Cass Tech High School, 2501 2nd Avenue, Detroit, Michigan 48201. On Wednesday, June 12th, we'll be at Martin Luther King High School, 3200 East Lafayette Street, Detroit, Michigan 48207. And on Thursday, June 13th, we'll be at Renaissance High School, 6565 Outer Drive, Detroit, Michigan 48235. At these meetings, the commission will be there from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. We really encourage folks to come out in person and provide comments. We'll have large hard copies of blow-ups of all the different mapping configurations, as well as the original Linden map and the old map drawn by the legislature during the 2010 census cycle. That way you can do a comparison in person, and maybe after looking at them, let us know exactly what you have to think. So once again, please join us Tuesday, June 11th, Wednesday, June 12th, and Thursday, June 13th. Show up, speak up. Since I see no hands right now, we'll take a break. We'll come back at, let's say 7:15. And I'll see y'all then. All right, everyone, it's 7:15 and we're back. Has anyone joined who would like to provide comment to the commission? Well, it doesn't look like we've had anyone new join. I do see James Gallant has his hand up, but he already spoke once, and today we're having one turn per speaker. And I don't see anybody else who wants to have any input. Mr. Woods, do you have anything for tonight?
Thank you, Commissioner Eid. I think you covered everything with the upcoming public hearings and locations. So with regards to everyone being there. So I appreciate that.
For sure. Why don't we plug it just one more time?
Sure. Let me share my screen just a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on June 11th, Tuesday, June 11th, we will be at Detroit Cass Tech High School, that will take place from 10 to 12:30. There'll be a lunch break from 12:30 to 1:30, and then we'll go from 1:30 to 3, and then come back, take a break from 3 to 4, then come back 4 to 7. Cass Tech High School is located at 2501 2nd Avenue in Detroit, Michigan, Tuesday, June 11th. Wednesday, June 12th, we'll be at Martin Luther King High School at 3200 East Lafayette Street in Detroit, Michigan. Once again, Wednesday, June 12th, we'll be at Martin Luther King High School, 3200 East Lafayette Street in Detroit, Michigan. You see the times are the same for the public hearings on each and every one of those days. And then last but not least, on Thursday, June 13th, we'll be at Renaissance High School located at 6565 West Outer Drive for these public hearings. Once again, we want to make a big push. I repeat, a big push to get each and every one of you to come out. And if you're not able to come in person, please consider signing up remotely. Or if you can't sign up remotely, please fill in comments in the public comment portal off of the commission's website or the mapping comment portal. And you can reach that at www.michigan.gov/MICRC. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Well, seeing as we don't have anyone new, we'll conclude our public comments period for this evening. Please feel free to email public comments to the commission at redistricting@michigan.gov or visit our website, www.michigan.gov/MICRC, to use the public comment portal. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts and appreciate everyone who offers public comment in whatever way you choose. I invite you to keep sharing your thoughts, especially in person next week during the in-person public hearings. Are there any announcements or acknowledgements tonight? Okay, well, on behalf of the commission, I'd like to express my appreciation to all those that made this virtual town hall meeting possible. That includes all of our partners, including EDS, the Michigan Department of State, Regional Interpreting Network, Q&A reporting, all of our translators, everyone that helps us, keep this thing going in a smooth fashion. We appreciate you. It's a team effort, and it can't happen without all members of the team being on top of their game. So I appreciate y'all. Most importantly, I appreciate the public for engaging, for learning about these maps and trying to participate to ensure that we have a fair democracy here in Michigan and ensure we have fair maps. Please enjoy the rest of the day. We'll see you all next week on June 11th. Good night, everyone.